What's going on, Seneca?
All right. We had to go live tonight. Chris Moore in the building. I had to put you on the thumbnail. The man who needs no introduction. Chris, we are here today to talk about this city council meeting where they approved the keeping Omar and the police abolitionists off. Give us the rundown. What happened? I thought Kevin Jenkins already kicked them off. Explain to us, give us the briefing about how we got here today.
So I think what happened was a few weeks ago, these two, Omar Farmer and Acosta, the chair, were proposed by the police commission. You know, something that came up tonight, they had only seven people apply. In past years, they had 150 people apply. They only had seven people apply. And so they, of course, out of those seven, they ignored anybody that was kind of even moderate to police, and they reselected Omar and Acosta to be reappointed. So what happened a few weeks ago? That came to the rules, and I think Kevin Jenkins was sending a message to them because on the meeting the next meeting, what was coming up was the revision to the chase policy. And so Kevin sort of, I believe, was sending them a message and saying, hey, you guys better start considering the wider community here and how his district and all these districts in East Oakland are being decimated by criminal activity. And so that's why they chose to not vote on it in that meeting. But it still had to come back, because if they don't vote on it, if the city council chooses to not vote on it, then they automatically get appointed sometime in mid-November. So that's why it did have to come back. They heard it in rules again, came back tonight, and they voted it down. It was a unanimous decision to say, we're tired. We know the community's tired of these anti-police individuals. We want to start supporting OPD, and it's the right decision. Let's move on, and we're going to start a new wave and a new trend. And the community stood up tonight. There were pastors there speaking. There was other activists from the pro-police
Hold on. We're gonna get into that in a minute. We're gonna get into that.
All right.
But first, let me bring it up just so people know what we're talking about. Oh, that's kind of small. I don't think they can see that, so we could remove it. Chris Moore just explained it. It was out for vote today. Who did not show to city council today?
Yeah, it was a 7-0 vote. Carol Fife was not there. I actually just heard she's in Rome.
She's in Rome. Carol Fife is in Rome talking to the
housing or something.
Talking to the Pope about Oakland's problem. These people are wackadoodle. You know what? Let me show this clip because I want people to get a sense of how the police abolitionists have been talking, and we'll get into this vote tonight.
Fuel for the already heated debate over the police pursuit policy. It is taking on a different tone after a beloved teacher was killed by a man racing away from the CHP last month. Here's NBC Bay Area's Valina Jones.
We are tired of our communities being endangered because of high-speed police policies that the data shows do not prevent nor do they solve crime.
Standing outside CHP offices in Oakland, activist group, the Anti-Police Terror Project, and other community organizations are calling for an end to CHP pursuits and their entire operation in Oakland.
Anytime people come into our community and they harm our community, they don't need to be in our community.
Their concerns come after a Castlemont High School teacher.
Hold on. You mean the criminals?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, they're of course not. By the way, that first guy, if you go back to the beginning, was standing there. The guy has he was this guy right here on the he was there tonight. This is Cap Brooks, right in the center, and then This guy, I don't know his
Kitty
name, but
Brooks, police defender number one.
he just sits around and kind of like tries to mimic and cry. He's a big crybaby basically, and he's not getting his way now, and he was a complete loser tonight. This whole organization, and this guy was just crying up, oh, we got to keep Omar in. He's our man. It's like slap him in the face. The city council 7-0 just slapped him in his face and said, "Get out of here." So this is the start of common sense topics. And
you got a quote from Chris Moore: "Breaking historic victory happened in Oakland. This is the first time in 7 years. It's not the first time, Chris, because we got a vote. The no chase policy was removed recently.
It
remember?
is true. That was at the police commission. I think this was the full city council, but maybe the city council.
I stand corrected. No, you're right. I stand corrected. So, but the point is that it looks like the anti-police terror project is losing or has lost their grip on. I'm not even going to play that video again because it's just a bunch of more soggy talk. We've already heard too much soggy talk. We don't want to hear it anymore. That's what the message is tonight. So how many speakers were there to keep these two police commissioners, and what were they saying in defense of them?
So you had your Wellstone group, elders, elder women that were all there clapping for all their, speakers and making their comments. There, of course,
Hold on, Wellstone, you mean the group that supported Sheng Tao?
Supported Sheng Tao, supported Pam Price. They were, our favorite, what's her name with the little hat? Pamela Drake was there, and all Millie and all her other friends, and they're
the old white woman brigade.
They live up there in North Oakland and in the hills, and they care about East Oakland. And I think they were pretty much shut up tonight and said, no. Ken Houston was the first to propose this, and Kevin and everybody in East Oakland knows that their community is being decimated by the policies promoted by these old white women who don't care about the community. They just care about their ideological thoughts. That's it. But in any case, that's who was there. And then you had the one anti-police terror project guy that was there, and couple other people, but they of course were all speaking nonsense with non-factual information. This
wasn't an accident, right?
Tonight? Well, it didn't.
Yeah.
It took a lot of work. There's a woman, Rajni Mandel, who has been doing a lot of work.
How do you spell her name? R-A-J?
Rajni, R-A-J-N Rajni Mandel, M-A-N-D-E-L. So she is extremely competent person. She's done all the research, and the other side likes to say have you heard this before? A rich woman in the hills, or she's paid for by OPD. All those other people on the other side, they're all getting paid. Nobody was getting paid in the pro public safety side of this tonight. And so, Rajni's done a lot of work, a lot of prep work. She's been communicating to the community and just letting them know. And actually, City Council has come to rely on her. And of course, the other side is extremely upset at that because she only speaks truth. She
wouldn't back down. She wouldn't give up, and they could not take her out of her zone. She is extremely calm, and she just has been amazing. I've been trying to get her on an interview, but I haven't been able to, but I'm happy. She doesn't need to come on Gotham Oakland. She's doing just fine. I want to read this. Yeah. Chris, do you mind if I read this?
Go for it. Yep, sure.
So this is the letter that she was advising people to send to City Council to their council members. And here's why I'm reading this. This wasn't an accident. Now, Little Birdie told me, and I don't know if it's true, I'll ask you later, that Barbara Lee herself, Queen Mayor blah, blah, Lee, was demanding and calling each council member to tell them to reappoint these woke police commissioners. So let me read this. Ray, Omar Farmer's reappointment to the police commission. Dear members of City Council, the Oakland Police Commission has an essential role in providing independent civilian oversight of OPD under City Charter Section 604. That role requires commissioners to respect the commission's jurisdiction, comply with the Brown Act, and work collaboratively. I urge the council to reject any appointment slate that includes alternate commissioner Omar Farmer and to advise the selection panel not to advance a slate containing his name. Commissioner Farmer has repeatedly overstepped his authority as defined in the city charter, directed staff on activities not defined in the city charter, and involved himself in matters outside the commissioner's scope as defined in the city charter. The charter requires the council to either approve or reject the entire slate submitted by the selection panel. Mayor Lee is moving forward with filling her 2 vacancies, 1 commissioner, 1 alternative. This ensures quorum will not be at risk if the selection panel is asked to revise the slate to only forward 1 commissioner candidate prior to the submission for council approval. Commissioner Farmer's documented transgressions. Misuse of commissioner time and authority. Farmer has used commissioner resources on matters outside OPC's jurisdiction, including presenting KPIs. What's the KPI, just so people know?
Key performance indicators.
Thank you. And metrics for a mental health wellness and unit initiative without full council approval. He stalked the commission vote to endorse recommendations of the Reimagining Public Safety Task Force without agendizing the matter. Reimagining Public Safety is what they moved to when they realized defund the police was retarded and they couldn't say it in public. So they just changed the rhetoric. But they didn't change their ambition. And then they started saying public safety is our #1 priority while continuing to defund the police. This is how, this is not in here, I'm not reading from here. This is my thoughts, but it's just sharing those. Anyway, I'll get back to it. These actions misuse commissioner time and resources, diverted attention from the body's legally defined oversight duties, and delays its required work under Charter Section 604. And so he also improper direction of staff. At the June 26, 2025 OPC meeting, Farmer instructed OPD to provide staff contact information. On June 24, 2025, he directed OPD to report back on his initiative. These actions exceed the commissioner's policy role under City Charter Section 604 and below the lines between oversight and management. Number 3, attempted interference in labor negotiation. On July 25th, 2025, Farmer stated, quote, "I think it would be worthwhile for us before the year is over to maybe have 1 or 2 discussions about the OPOA MOU recommendations that we would like to see put in there," unquote. Collective bargaining with the OPOA lies entirely outside the police commission's jurisdiction and rests with the city's labor negotiators. This is not only crazy, this is also conflict of interest. Farmer has publicly acknowledged having an open personal complaint against the OPD. He subsequently argued that the deputy chief asked him about OPD timeline for investigating the same meeting. He creates at least the appearance of a conflict of interest, undermining the commissioner's duty of impartial civilian oversight. The commissioner with an active complaint against OPD cannot credibly serve as a neutral police overseer by simultaneously pursuing a personal grievance with the agency. Unauthorized representation of the federal monitor. I'm not even going to read it. You can go find it. Also,
it goes on
outside the Brown Act violation. Why was Barbara Lee allegedly telling people to reappoint him? And why would a police, anti-police terror project and all of the police abolitionists and anti-police people who hate police for whatever reason, why were they trying to keep this guy? Somebody explain me what your thought.
They were saying in the meeting, these are all lies. There are no Brown Act violations. He didn't do these things. I mean, you could see she had everything well documented in there. She has the video clip. She has, all the information's in there. He obviously has been doing these, inappropriate transgressions, and City Council believed. What she's a trustworthy individual, and I think they trusted what she's saying versus the other side, which does zero research, and they just kind of say whatever they think will help get their person reappointed.
Yeah, because they want to abolish and defund the police, which they've largely been successful at.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say so we're supposed to have roughly 700 police, right? The actual number that
why are we supposed to have that many? Is there something legal? There's
like measure in, measure. How many measure? I don't know what the previous one was, but
minimum police staffing was attached to these ballot measures that we approve, and then they just don't. They ignore it.
What they do is they put in every ballot measure, no matter what, clean the parks, they put all, hey, if there's a financial emergency, then we don't have to abide by what's in this thing, right? Well, Oakland's in a perennial financial emergency. I mean, it's continual. So the day that thing was, voted in, it was a financial emergency, and they just, they could just use the money for the general fund. That's what always happens. But in this case, the actual number of officers today is 504. Okay, that is the actual number that is working today, is 504. Just got that update today.
Didn't we just turn off our police scanners so we can't hear what's going on? Why is Barbara Lee okay with turning off the police scanners and not having his privacy? She's in charge. She can make him do it if she wanted to.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I don't have details on that one.
And then we don't have enough officers to cover all 35 beats every shift.
Well,
so
you need 310 to do proper patrolling, right? Just to cover all the beats. So you need 310 patrol officers. You only have 504 in total. So basically that little less than 200 is supposed to do everything else, right? Is supposed to do your homicide, your literally everything else is supposed to be done. It's not happening. They just have to keep shrinking those departments just to have enough people on patrol.
Yep.
And that number, it's going to go down. It's going to drop by 34 over the next 12 months. So you're going to have 476, something like that, a year from now. Even after you have 3 academies, it just keeps shrinking. And City Council is probably starting to figure out that Cat Brooks is about to make OPD extinct. That is, she's going to succeed there, and it's going to be complete chaos for the city. So, in any case, that's what's going on.
So, Michael Houston just released a performance audit. I want to share my screen. I want to make sure that they can read it. But this performance audit was related to the. One second, y'all. My bad. The performance audit was, I can't share it because
that's the agenda.
That's the agenda. No, it's not. It's not on the screen. That's something different. Let me remove that. Well, anyway, I just read it. The performance audit was about 911, inadequate 911 staffing and outdated beat boundaries leads to slow and inadequate police emergency response time. So it talks about the beats and how they're outdated, which was something that Ousted Joyner mentioned in our interview. But yet the police commission doesn't talk about the equity concern about having equal police distribution across the city, including affluent areas, and having the same amount of police assigned to areas with high crime. That never comes up because they don't want Black people and brown people and poor people to have public safety because they want us in perpetual danger. So we're always scared and afraid and dependent on the Democratic Party for a handout. That's just my hypothesis. That's just me.
It's not too far off.
Chris Moore, there's a reason you're on the show today. You helped lobby this. Did you call council members and talk to them? And if so, you don't have to name any names. We don't need people put on the spot unless you want to. But how were those conversations like? Tell me what it was like lobbying to the city council to make sure they voted, because you were successful. Unanimous vote. How did you pull this off?
Yeah,
7 years someone pulled this off. How did you do it?
I got to say this was a group effort. There was a number of people involved, but I think there's genuine interest in city council to make change in Oakland. They know it's a cluster, fuck basically, and they want to. They need people like from the community to come out and say, hey, we need help. And as long as those people come and they speak at city council, then they don't have to listen to those, all the crackpots that show up that are on the other side. And so that is really, I truly think in their hearts, and many of the city council members want to change and they want to support police and they want what's better for the community. That's why they were elected. But they needed somebody to kind of help organize. And I had a little bit of a hand in that. But there was a number of others in the community. I had pastors that called me and said they were interested. Many across the community, particularly in East Oakland, they want help. And they just needed someone, they need to kind of say, let's make it, let's do it, let's make it happen. And they helped call their council members as well. So So I give it, I mean, to get a unanimous decision, that's amazing. I mean, it really does say that City Council's ready to change the pendulum and help it to go in the other direction. And that's good.
Absolutely.
It's great.
What's that noise? Is that me? I'm hearing
Oh,
something.
sorry. No, that's me. That's me. That's my
So
headphones.
it's all,
Sorry about that.
oh yeah, it's all good. So check it. This isn't the first time you've lobbied something and seemed to have gotten your way over someone very powerful. I recall Ursula Jones Dixon's appointment and Rob Bonta wanting his person and you pushing the Board of Supervisors and Ursula being appointed. And I remember giving you a lot of credit for that. What's going on, Chris? Are you the most effective community lobbyist in the city of Oakland today?
Some people may think that. I'll just say it just takes a lot of hard work, and you have to be passionate, and you have to be willing to keep calling and getting people what they need. I think I actually like my more recent win in the treasurer when I discovered that the treasurer in Alameda County was basically hiding his performance, and we were able to move a piece of legislation in the right way there. So I really, what I see is lobbying. Of course, I do this. I'm not doing this for personal benefit. I'm not for financial benefit. I'm doing this for the community, purely just what's right for the community. And I think they see that, they understand that. And I get the right people to talk to them that have common sense, opinions, and they generally go in the right direction. We don't win them all, but it's there's been some important wins. I'm very happy about, for sure.
Well, you're making traction, and traction is the way forward, right? And I'm trying to pull up this book, the rules. I can't find it, but that's okay. I don't want to keep people waiting while I look for it. But we are making traction. And I'm very happy to see that our decentralized movement, me doing the show, Edward Escobar and Twan out there helping, business owners self-advocate and get some help, and get some media on their plight. You doing your thing, calling and doing the effective lobbying work, and actually taking the time to build relationships with City Council and Board of Supervisor members so that you can call them. They pick up your calls, because many people can never even get a call back or have them pick up their calls, and that they're seeing you as a trusted advisor to give them some insight on what the community is really thinking and feeling. And I'm very happy about that. So I don't have very many closing remarks. I'm going to make my quick close.
I'll just make one. I learned from the master of all this. So the guy who taught me how to do all this is sitting on the other side of the screen here, man. That's
well, that is a huge honor. I was just talking at the eviction moratorium. That is correct. I was just talking to a mutual friend of ours, and I was like, I was happy to have a small part in that, but I would say the moment I met you, Chris, 3 years ago in February of 2023, where we were organizing to end Oakland's 3-year plus eviction moratorium, the longest in the country. At that point, I met you once and I left, and I called, my client who had hired me, because that wasn't volunteer work for me. I got paid for that. But because I should get paid for my work. I don't know why these people think I don't deserve to get paid for my work. Somehow I eat and drink air and something like that. But anyway, I said, you guys don't know what you got. I'm seeing some of the most effective organizers. I'm seeing potential organizing savants. And we just need to turn them loose, give them agency and turn them loose. And boy, have you been turned loose, Mr. Moore. I'm so happy. I'll take whatever credit you give me, but no one can take the place of your hard work, sacrifice, how hard it is to stick with this for years. We're almost 3 years in at this point. We're a few months away from no breaks, campaign after campaign after campaign after campaign. We're going to have you back next week for another interview about this Alameda County tax stuff. We don't have to go into it today, but that's going to be a real good one. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know. If you don't, just come back. Y'all watching Guys from Oakland anyway, of course. So here's my closing remarks. Cat Brooks, you're done. You guys have no more influence. No one is listening to the anti-police terror project. No one is listening to the police abolitionists. No one's listening to Carol Fife, who took off to Rome that you didn't have to vote in this. So what that means is City Council finally is free to breathe and do the right thing.
Exactly.
And now we just got to get Mayor blah, blah, Lee in line, and we can do it. So I'm very happy. Thank you, City Council, for everyone who voted for this. Thank you. I know I have a lot of criticism for y'all. Well, actually, the people who voted today, I don't have too much criticism for the current council. I haven't made a single puppet yet. No puppets yet, but I will be bringing out an unretiring Rebecca Kaplan's puppet.
Yes.
For a special episode.
she's making 150 a year from the taxpayers.
That's not what it's for. Here's my hypothesis. This lady was the at large for like a decade. She didn't have a district to piss off, so she pissed off the whole city. She ran for all types of offices, mayor, this, that. She lost every single one of them. Board of Supervisors, she lost every single race she ran for, except the one that she could win because she had the progressive machine that only seemed to be able to control Oakland. All those budgets you saw that pushed us to the brink of bankruptcy, she tried to put homeless people on a cruise ship with some harebrained idea. The AASCG fiasco is all hers. The fact that this Coliseum has been leaking sewage into the creek through her whole term and she knew about it and didn't say anything, now you know why there was no appraisal for the Coliseum, because the appraisal would have had everyone notice what's happening and they wouldn't have plausible deniability. ASCG knew that was happening too. They didn't care. This whole thing has been a sham all along. Rebecca Kopp is one of the reasons why we don't have the A's. Rebecca Kopp is one of the reasons why. Anyway, the point is, she's not back for the homeless. You don't need a consultant to solve the homeless problem. Catch the illegal dumpers. It ain't that complicated. She is there because the city administrator's office, that guy Justin Johnson does not know fuck all. He is a clown. He's a court jester. And so Rebecca Kaplan is the heavy, and I don't mean this in a good way, but she is an intelligent person. She's an MIT grad.
I
know. Look,
I wouldn't give that to her. I wouldn't go that far.
I know. She's. You know what? Corruption and being a bad person makes you stupid because you ignore the truth. But to say that she lacks sophistication to her own demise because she's helped lead the takeover of a major American city, and she's pimped it out quite nicely to her own financial benefit. Rebecca Kaplan ran for mayor like 2 weeks after she got here from Canada. But did I mention that Rebecca Kaplan's from Canada? It shouldn't matter, but since all the Oakland dieharders love to be like, you're not from Oakland, they never seem to have that criticism for people who aren't even from America. But anyway, I think she's there to be the de facto fake city administrator because they need someone there who actually knows enough about how to grift and all this measure W money. She's there to grift it. And one more thing, I think she's there to hide some stuff with the Coliseum because that's about to come. I remember I've been telling y'all about that Cole lawsuit. I've been telling y'all about that financial disclosure with the Sierra Club. And I've been telling you it's going to come around right around now or towards the beginning of next year. So anyway, I don't want to get too off topic. Chris, closing remarks about what do the people of Oakland need to do to continue this momentum, this trajectory, because we're not out the woods. Again, we don't have enough police. We're not keeping up with the academies. We're falling behind. What is the solution?
So yes, police are still, they've gotten themselves to a point where the police are going to continue to decline. And you still do have a lot of very bad policy. It's really, we got to just chip away at it going the other way. And so what we need is people to come out and there's a group that's forming to help build a coalition to help get people out, talk at city council, send emails, write their city council, talk to their city council members. And that's what's got to happen. And just shut up these other inept people from like Cat Brooks and others who have no concept of how to properly provide public safety in the city of Oakland.
Well, maybe the media would stop platforming Kitty. She disappeared and went to LA when I exposed the fact that she was a greedy landlord trying to rent her 10-box, 800 square feet ADU out for $3,000 a month. and then breaking rental laws by publicly saying only apply if you're a woman or a femme or gay, leaving out straight black men who are literally the #1 demographic of homelessness. She disappeared after I called her out, but now she's creeping back in.
She's anti-union as well, so
She's a union buster.
She's a union
buster. Well, they still love her, meaning progressive grifter. So we're winning. We are winning. Yep. Chris Moore, congratulations. We're at the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to sign out. But peace, Oakland. Thank you guys for coming. And they can't see my piece. Peace, Oakland. Thank you all for coming. If you don't know Chris Moore, please follow him on X. I'll put his X. I'll put it back up on the screen.
More on the street. More on the street.
More on the street. There you go. I don't know why it's not sharing, but anyway, more on the street at X. Follow him. If you don't know who Chris Moore is, you probably are new to the show, or you're living in a cave, because he has taken the crown, if I ever even had it, as the most effective community lobbyist organizer in Oakland. I salute you, Mr. Moore. Thank you very much for your tireless advocacy, sacrifice, and hard work.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Peace.
Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here. Yo, I swear it's only up from here.